Hi friends, Allison here, dropping in to share some creative inspiration with you for Scrapbook Nerd. Today I am actually scraplifting a layout that Jana McCarthy did for the Hipkit Club. I really loved the background that she created using watercolors and adding texture paste or paste of some sort anyways through a stencil in the background, and then layering overlay over top of it. You saw it at the very beginning of the video. I wanted to replicate that. I absolutely loved her design and wanted to give it a shot. So here I am creating my background. I used re-inkers that I had in my stash, pink and yellow, and I made sure to overlap them to create some orange or kind of a peachy color in between. I wanted a gradient sort of ombre effect. So I've got a pink, orange, and yellow color scheme happening in the background. And I'm using my Nouveau Glimmer Paste in Moonstone to put through a star stencil that I also had in my stash to create my background. Here I'm just playing around with where I want my overlay to sit over top of the mixed media. And I used a pencil to mark out the lines basically, so I had an easy time cutting it out. I was going to use my paper trimmer. I actually have a guillotine trimmer to do that, but I figured just using scissors would be easier, so I did that instead. And I'm just going to layer my overlay on top of my mixed media background, and I'm going to glue that together using liquid adhesive. I'm just using my Tombow mono liquid glue to adhere them together. I do go back afterwards, after I have them stuck together, because I only did the outside edges of the mixed media paper. So I go back and add glue in between each of the letters as well, and then put something heavy on top of it for a bit just to ensure that it stuck together. Now I'm working on a frame. Jana had a frame also in her original layout, and then she layered a photo over top of it. I'm going to do the same thing. I stuck fairly close to her original design in my layout as well, because it was so unique. I loved it, and it was so inspiring. So I'm adding some craft foam to the back of my photo, and it's going to go inside the frame, and then I'm going to add a second one just below. My layout is slightly different than Jana's in that she, if she included journaling, she included it elsewhere. I thought it would be neat to turn my photos into little flip-ups, making it a little more interactive. So I printed my journaling on my computer. I just used regular printer paper to print my journaling out and eyeballed the measurements. I haven't figured out how to set my measurements yet for printing. That's a work in progress. So I just eyeballed it and was quite lucky. I got the dimensions fairly close to what it should be to fit inside the photos so that they flip up and it reveals the journaling. Here I'm playing with alpha stickers that I had in my stash. I had wanted to use alpha stickers to create my title, but all of the alpha stickers that I have in my stash did not have enough L's for the word volleyball. This is a layout about my girls playing volleyball. Last year in grade 4, they both tried out for the volleyball team and made it. And because they're still so new to it, they didn't have any games or tournaments or anything like that. They just basically learned the skills and what's involved in playing volleyball. And then at the end of the season, they had kind of like a show and tell for the parents. They could come down to the school and watch the kids show off their newfound skills. So my husband and I were lucky enough to be able to go down and watch the girls, and I got a couple of pictures of them playing volleyball. Because I was so far away, I cropped a lot of the photo out so I could really focus on each of my daughters. The rest of the stuff in the pictures didn't have, like, they weren't important to the story. So the pictures measure about 2 by 2, or maybe 2.5 by 2.5. I'm not, somewhere in there anyways, not 100% sure. Okay, so back to my title, little bunny trail there. I decided to stamp my title instead using a stamp that I had in my stash and some ink as well. And then I fussy cut those letters out to create my title. So the title is Volleyball. And then I used a Pretty Little Studio tab from a cut apart sheet that I had in my stash to stamp the word season. And I layered that over top of the title. So the full title is Volleyball Season. I also die cut a little tab to go alongside the photo. Originally, my plan had been to maybe add a phrase sticker onto that tab, but it was so small. I decided to pull out a roller stamp that I had in my stash and just stamp a little phrase on the tab instead. And I can't remember what phrase I chose. It was something uplifting and motivational anyways. You may see it in the close-ups, I'm not sure. So at this point, I realized the elements that I had layered over top of the photos didn't allow me to open the photos up to read the journaling underneath. So I just had to move things around and finagle things a little bit so that could happen. If you hear noise in the background, it's my dog. He decided to invite himself in and join me while I do my voiceover. So for finishing touches, I'm pretty well done my layout. I don't know if I've added the date yet. If I haven't, that's still coming. But right now I'm adding some enamel dots just to embellish the page a little bit more. I also really struggled with this part of the layout. I forgot that my overlay cut at 11.5 by 11.5 inches. And I kept looking at my layout thinking to myself, there's so much white space. I feel like there's not enough on the page, and I didn't know what to do to fill up that white space. So I decided to add splatter in pink and yellow around the layout, and it still didn't feel like it was enough. And then decided to pull out some yellow cardstock, which you see right now, and then remembered that it had cut smaller than a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So luckily for me, I was able to mat it onto another piece of cardstock, and that was the ticket. My layout finally felt complete and absolutely love the way that this turned out. I do add a couple of Tim Holtz stickers, which you see me adding right now. And with that, this layout is complete. I do have close-ups coming up, so definitely feel free to stick around for those. And I hope that you found this layout inspiring like I did. And I hope you found the video inspiring as well. I hope that it inspires you to try something different like I did in this layout, or something else. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I will be back again soon with more creative inspiration. Thanks, guys. Bye.